Why do the most successful people seem to work less than everyone else? While you're grinding 12 hours a day, they're taking walks, napping, and somehow winning. What if I told you they know something you don't? Something so simple, yet so powerful, that once you understand it, you'll never look at rest the same way again. Stay with me, because this story is about to challenge everything you believe about success, hard work, and productivity. And by the end, you'll discover why the hardest workers are often the least successful. Let me show you what I mean. In a small village nestled between mountains, there lived a farmer named Robert. He was known for one thing, his relentless work ethic. Every morning, before the sun painted the sky, Robert was already in his fields. While other farmers took breaks, he worked. While they rested on festival days, he planted more seeds. Success comes to those who work the hardest, he would say with pride. His neighbors admired his dedication. Look at Robert, they would whisper. He never stops. Surely his harvest will be the greatest. But Robert had a secret, one he hid even from himself. As the months passed, something strange began to happen. Despite working twice as long as anyone else, Robert's crops grew slowly. His hands, once steady and strong, now trembled. His mind, once sharp, made foolish mistakes. One afternoon, he planted an entire row of seeds in soil he had already planted the day before. He was too exhausted to remember, his body ached. His back screamed in pain, but still, he pushed himself harder. I just need to work more, he told himself. Success is just around the corner. But deep inside, he felt something breaking. Meanwhile, his neighbor James had a farm that was thriving. His crops were tall, healthy, and abundant. His face glowed with peace. But here's what puzzled everyone. James worked far less than Robert. Every afternoon, James would stop working. He would sit under a tree, drink tea, and simply do nothing. Sometimes he napped. Sometimes he just watched the clouds drift by. The villagers whispered, "He's lazy. How does his farm produce more?" One day, exhausted and desperate, Robert approached James. His pride was shattered, but his curiosity was stronger. "How?" Robert asked, his voice breaking. "I work sunrise to sunset. You rest half the day, yet your harvest is twice mine. What am I doing wrong?" James smiled gently. "Come, sit with me." Robert hesitated. "I don't have time to sit. I have work." "That," James interrupted softly, "is exactly your problem." Reluctantly, Robert sat down. For the first time in months, he stopped moving. James pointed to a tree nearby. "Tell me, my friend, what makes that tree strong?" Robert looked confused. "Its roots, the trunk." "No," James said. "Look closer. What do you see between the leaves?" Robert stared. "Space, empty space." "Exactly." James nodded. "Without space, the tree would suffocate. The leaves need space to breathe, to receive sunlight. Without emptiness, there is no growth." He turned to Robert. "You are like a tree with no space. You work and work, but you give yourself no room to breathe, no room to recover, no room to grow." James continued. "Every morning I work with full focus, but I also watch, I observe which plants need water, which soil is too dry, which weeds are growing. Then I rest. And during that rest, my mind processes what I saw. Solutions appear. New ideas come. I see patterns I missed when I was busy. But most importantly," James said, "when I return to work after rest, I work with fresh energy. 1 hour of focused work when you re-rested is worth more than 5 hours when you re-exhausted." He placed a hand on Robert's shoulder. "You're not working harder than me. You're just suffering more. There's a difference." For the first time, tears filled Robert's eyes. He realized he had been confusing exhaustion with dedication, suffering with success. "Now, before I tell you what happened next, I need you to ask yourself something. Are you working hard, or are you just exhausted? Are you being productive, or are you just busy?" Hold that thought, because what Robert does next will either wake you up, or you'll dismiss it like you dismissed every other sign that you're re-burning out. The next day, Robert did something he had never done before. He worked for 4 focused hours. Then he stopped. He sat under a tree and rested. At first, guilt consumed him. "I should be working." His mind screamed, but he stayed. He breathed. He watched the clouds, and something miraculous happened. His mind became clear. He noticed things he had never seen before. He saw which parts of his field got the most sunlight. He realized he had been overwatering certain crops. When he returned to work, his body was refreshed. His mind was sharp. He worked with precision and purpose. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Robert adopted James's rhythm, intense work followed by intentional rest. And slowly, his farm began to transform. When harvest season arrived, Robert's farm had changed completely. His crops were healthy, abundant, and strong. But more importantly, Robert himself had changed. His eyes were bright. His hands were steady. His heart was at peace. The villagers were amazed. "What happened to Robert?" they asked. "He works less now, but his farm is thriving." Robert smiled and replied, "I learned the secret that everyone misses. Rest is not the opposite of work. Rest is what makes work possible." He looked at James and bowed with gratitude. "I used to think doing nothing was wasting time. Now I know, doing nothing is when the magic happens." The lesson Robert learned is one our modern world desperately needs to remember. We live in a culture that glorifies hustle, that celebrates burnout, that mistakes exhaustion for excellence. But here's the truth. Your brain needs rest to process information. Your body needs rest to rebuild strength. Your creativity needs space to emerge. The most productive people aren't the ones who work the most hours. They're the ones who work the smartest hours and rest with intention. Rest is not laziness. Rest is strategy. Rest is power. Rest is your secret weapon. So let me ask you this, and I want you to really think about it. Are you working hard, or are you just suffering long? Are you being strategic with your energy, or are you just grinding until you break? If this story hit you somewhere deep, I need you to do something right now. Hit that like button, not just to support the channel, but as a commitment to yourself. A commitment that you will start treating rest as seriously as you treat work. Now here's where I need your honesty. In the comments below, I want you to answer one question. How many hours did you work yesterday? Just type the number. No judgment, no shame, just awareness. Because awareness is the first step to change. Type your number, then scroll through and see what others wrote. You might be surprised. And here's the second part of your challenge. Reply to 3 other people's comments with encouragement or your own insight. Let's create a community of people who are choosing sustainable success over burnout. Because sometimes the story that changes your life isn't just the one you watch. It's the community of honest people you connect with afterward. These aren't random videos. They're a complete system for building a life of sustainable success instead of glorified burnout. Subscribe to Moral Wisdom Tales because we do uncreate content that makes you feel good for 5 minutes and then fades. We create stories that fundamentally change how you approach your life, your work, and your worth. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a story that could save you from burning out. Because here's the truth. The breakthrough you're desperately working toward might not come from working more. It might come from resting better. Before you go, I want to leave you with one final question. What if the reason you haven't achieved your biggest goal yet isn't because you're not working hard enough? What if it's because you're not resting smart enough? What if your next breakthrough is hiding in the space between your efforts? Think about that. Then go take a rest. You've earned it. And when you come back, you'll be sharper, stronger, and more powerful than ever. Your next video is waiting. One orange changed everything. A pianist's life-changing moment. It's an inspirational tale of finding hope and moving forward, even when uncertainty lingers. Until next time, remember, sometimes doing nothing is doing everything. Now go prove it.